I want to say a hugest congratulations for reaching the rank of Crown. It is our highest ranking in the company, and I am so happy for you to see you after, you've been with us for 5 years working toward this goal. So I just want to say the hugest congratulations and thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Amy. It's still surreal to hear you say those words. I've been looking up to the crowns of this company for so long, and it's just an honor to be able to partner with you guys to do this powerful work.
Oh, well, thank you so much. So, you were a performer, as Dave alluded, a environmental activist. I know you care deeply about people. So, tell us a little bit about what you were doing, what you were passionate about before you found Purium 5 years ago, and then how have Dave said you turned your passion now into a paycheck. You've integrated those things. Walk us through this 5-year journey.
Mhm. So I have been an activist from day one. I was homeschooled by my parents, and they just really gave me the freedom to learn about what I wanted to. And I always have been really passionate about justice, environmental justice and social justice. My mom has a story she likes to tell about me, that we were visiting this retreat center in Tennessee where actually Martin Luther King and his advisors were meeting about the civil rights movement. And I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I'd been learning about the civil rights movement. And they found me, they woke up in the morning in the retreat center, and I wasn't in bed, and they walked out at sunrise and found me sitting in one of the rocking chairs in the meeting room. And I said to my mom, I sat in every rocking chair, and that means that I sat in one of the chairs that Martin Luther King sat in. And so I have always had this passion for justice. And I want to say right now in this moment that I solidly believe in racial justice. I stand in solidarity with all the people of color who are suffering in this world. I believe Black Lives Matter, and I believe that this company has done so much to support people across the spectrum. And really, the fact that Purium is so active in promoting environmentalism and social justice has been one of the reasons, the only reason really, that I was able to partner with a company. I never thought I would be someone who would partner with a company. I've always been really independent, rebellious, entrepreneurially minded, and have done lots of amazing projects on my own that I started from the ground up, including event production companies and not-for-profit organizations, organizing things like that. But I reached a point in my late 20s where I just had been doing so much work, and I was not making much money at all. I was living in San Francisco and Oakland, the Bay Area, some of the most expensive places to live in the world, and I was barely getting by driving for Uber and Lyft and having to do the things I was passionate about on my spare time. And I realized, like, I have a vision for having a family, and I'm not going to be able to support a family like this. I also love to travel, and I want to be able to travel in style. I don't want to have to limit the experiences I have when I go to places. And beyond that, I want to be a force for good in the world. And I can see that the people with money are the people who are really controlling the narrative of this world. And I don't think the world is all about money, but I think if you have a lot of financial power, you can have an impact. And so I had this vision of becoming a philanthropist and being able to not only support my own life, to be comfortable and abundant, to be able to take care of my future family, but to be able to give back to the world, to protect sacred lands, to be able to fund alternative energy technology or arts education for underserved communities, children, all these kinds of things that we know the world needs, create healing retreat centers, etc. So I thought, if I want to do that, I got to do something different. And beyond myself, I want to help raise an army of philanthropists to pool our extra resources together to do good work. And so I started looking, I was like, if I keep doing the same thing, I can't expect things to change. So I got to do something different. And so that's right about the time that I started exploring social entrepreneurship and ethical network marketing. at the same time, I was ready for a health transformation because being so busy, I was going out to eat a lot and I was definitely in a downward spiral in terms of my health. So Purium found me at the perfect time because I needed the products. I lost 14 pounds. I felt way, way better in my body. I changed my relationship with sugar and simple carbs and was able to really take my health into my own hands while starting to share this with my community and helping them change their health, as well as launching a vision which I thought just might someday be able to get me to the point where I could achieve that vision of having an impact on the world.
Well, you certainly are. And, you've been in the business for a while, and I've seen you kind of reinvent yourself in the business, like go through a few cycles over the 5 years. One of the funnest things for me is to hear you like talk about your like crystal clear vision and articulate it. You've been amazing at that. And you've also championed the millennial movement here at Purium. So, talk about that. Talk about how, you've reinvented yourself and your kind of method of operation, and weave in that vision if you can for us.
Absolutely. I mean, when I came into partner with this company, I was one of the youngest people around. I'm right now 35. I was born in 1984, so I'm at the older end of the millennial generation, but still I was one of the youngest people 5 years ago when I came in. And at first I was like, I don't know, but then I realized, the things that Purium stands for are the things that millennials care about. We're the label readers. We go in the store and we turn the package around and read the ingredients before we even look at the label on the front, because we know how deeply polluted this world is, and we know the world that we're inheriting is one where we actually have to be really conscious and careful about our health. So I realized, like, this is exactly what people are looking for. Purium's commitment to lab testing down to the molecular level, every single ingredient, to the fact that all of our powders are dehydrated cold, and no other powders on the market are dehydrated that way. So you're essentially drinking fresh, living juice that you can just shake up. So, and I could go on at the elements of this company that were so in alignment. And so I decided, that was one of the reasons that I decided to really go for it. But, as every project, as every journey, we have ebbs and flows. And so I did really well my first month. I shared with about 20 people, and then I found someone who shared with 20 people in 1 month. So we brought 40 people into my organization and helped them start their transformations. And I made more money that month than I was with my other jobs, and that was great. But then I fell off, and I went to some festivals and went off the grid, and I was having fun, but I wasn't really treating it like a business. And so it took some time for me to really realize the treasure that I held in my hands, and to realize that in order to achieve the vision that I wanted, I really have to treat this like an actual business. And I was actually at an event in Las Vegas. I went to an event with Eric Ware, who's a big leader in the network marketing industry and trainer. And he said something on stage. He said, here we have the ability for people to make as much money as doctors and lawyers, careers where people go into deep levels of debt and spend 8-10 years of their life in training, and then another decade in residencies working their way up to make the kind of income that in network marketing you can make in a matter of years, if not less. And what do? How do we treat it? We say, oh, if we didn't make a bunch of money in a month, then it's not working. Like, would you go into medical school and try and do a surgery after a month of being in your pre-med and say, oh, surgery doesn't work? And so if we want to truly harness the power of this, we have to treat it like we would if we were in medical school. And we have to treat it like we would if we invested $100,000 of our own money in launching our own business. Would you just sit around and work it 5 hours a week and give it a, no, you would go full on. And so in that moment, I was about 15 months into my business or so, and I made a decision. I made a decision to treat my business like a business and bring at least part-time energy, like if I was working a part-time job. And so that's what I started doing, and that's really where I saw things turn around and where I really started to see the momentum growing in that moment. So it's And I could go on, there have been ebbs and flows, but it's all about one of the things that really keeps this business, keeps me in this business, is the fact that you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself, that we have a team. And so every time that I felt low or I fell off, I've always had a team of people, mentors and community, to ask for help, to ask to help me with my mindset and with my skill set, and our community Zooms that bring me so much inspiration that kept me going. Because if I was just by myself, I probably wouldn't have continued. So I'd say like making a decision was such an important thing to me, and continues to be, continuing to make the decision. When you see me reinvent myself, it's because behind the scenes, I'm doing the work to make another decision, to recommit to my business. And it's what I just did in order to achieve Crown, because before this month, I was doing my business, but I was coasting along, and COVID had gotten to me, and some stuff in my personal life had really gotten me down. And I made another decision to really go for it. And I saw an explosion of growth. And I actually double ranked from Black Diamond right through Red Diamond to Crown, and surprised myself. Even that morning, I didn't see that happening. I was aiming for Red Diamond. And so I really think making decisions, continually reaching out to your support networks and your mentors to help you through the hard times, and then really treating this like a real business, thinking, would I hire myself? If I was hiring an employee, would I hire myself? And if the answer is no, then you know what to do to get to work, to be the person that you would hire to work your business. So those are some of the things I think about and have helped me continue to move towards success and meet my goals.
I love that. Well, some people say that, being in Purium, it's like a personal development plan, combined with a pay plan. So, it's funny that you started down that path just now. Can you reflect on, kind of what that means to you, and how that, that strength and perseverance that you just talked about, how has, that been part of your journey?
Absolutely. With any entrepreneurial path, everything is going to come up. All of your stuff is going to come up, because in this world, we are trained to be worker bees. During the Industrial Revolution in the United States, the educational system really changed, and the curriculums were changed in order to produce workers for factories. And even though our world now doesn't put us in factories, it's like the whole economy is sort of a factory, the retail factory. And so we're conditioned through our public education system and just through the general consciousness to be employees, to be workers. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you feel called to be an entrepreneur and to be in business for yourself, you're entering into a world that you literally probably have no training in and have experienced and have not been prepared for. So what's going to happen is all of your stuff is going to come up. You are going to need to re-educate yourself on how to be in business for yourself. And so it brings up your fear of being seen, or your fear of rejection, or what if I don't succeed, or all sorts of different things. And so a lot of people might hear that and go, oh no, but really, what are we here for other than to grow? That's what I think. I've always been a personal growth junkie. I love personal growth workshops and looking at stuff like astrology and the gene keys and all sorts of like ways to self-reflect on who I am, and being the best man that I can be. And so I have found that like most of those things you got to pay a bunch of money for. You do a workshop and then it's done, and like maybe you stay disciplined with it, and like maybe you have an accountability buddy, but most of the time you sort of fall off, and like you think about the few golden nuggets you got from it. But what I've experienced with network marketing, especially in this company that's full of so many passionate, progressive, incredible, beautiful leaders and community, is that it's a place that you can stay accountable year after year. Because if you want to be successful, then you keep bringing yourself forward to the Zooms and to the coaching and to the live events. And when you do that, you continue having accountability. So I have experienced this as rather than having to pay for personal growth opportunities, Purium actually pays me to do personal growth in order to be better at my business. And when I'm better at my business, I increase my reach to help more people transform their physical health, their financial health, their emotional health, their spiritual health. It's a holistic process. And so I'm increasing my impact while increasing my income while developing myself. And so I would say every aspect of my life has been touched by this. I have very much refined my communication, my active listening, my skills around empathy and relating with people, conscious relating, and that touches every relationship in my life. And so I think that if you are someone that is ready to grow, that this is one of the best ways to hold yourself accountable in a community of loving people who will help you do that in order to grow yourself and to grow your business and to grow your impact.
Awesome. Well, that is spot on. So as we wrap up here, if there's someone on the line that is considering joining Purium tonight, maybe they joined yesterday, or maybe they've been in the business a little while, but they're ready to plug in and relaunch, what would be some best practices or advice to give that person?
My first advice is do it. Do it. My second piece of advice is make a decision, because so many people waste so much time going back and forth, so much energy. Am I doing this? I'm not doing this. Oh, I'm going to do it. Oh, wait, no, it's not working. I'm not going to do it. And it won't work if you do that. So what I did, and then another thing that came out of that one pivotal event with Eric Ware, is he asked us from the stage, he said, will you raise your hand in a room of over 10,000 people? Will you raise your hand if you're willing to make, he said, a 3-year commitment to your business? Now you can choose the number that's right for you. A year, I'd say a year minimum. But I committed to 3 years in that moment. I raised my hand and I saw every hand in that room raise. And he said, good, now you've made a decision. Don't question it. Now you free up all that energy to move forward. And if you just keep working and don't quit, the number one reason that people do not succeed in network marketing is they quit. I see sometimes this like statistic, it's like, oh, 90% of people aren't successful in network marketing. And I'm like, did they continue? Because anyone I've seen who actually sticks with it, stays in their actions, their income producing activities, continues doing the steps that your mentor will give you to do to be successful. Every one of those people at least creates some kind of success, whether it's $100 a month or many more times than that. Anyone can do it. And that's one of the reasons that I really love this business model. I call it financial permaculture. It's a system of mutual benefit, just like permaculture, where you grow plants in the soil that give the soil the different elements that it needs. They benefit each other. Well, that's what we're doing here with economics. We are in a system that mutually benefits each other in order to grow. I actually think this is the closest system of business in our economy to social democracy, things like we see in Europe, or to a communal way. It actually spreads out the money between people who are actually doing the work. It's a meritocracy rather than just getting paid based on where you are in some corporate hierarchy that goes all the way up to that one CEO level position that only one person can ever get to. Here, it's like a tributary system of streams and branches, just like the plants we work with. And anyone from any background, whether it's any race or gender identity or educational status, economics, anyone has the same level playing field. So in this beautiful gift that we have here, my number one advice to someone would be to make a decision, to make a contract with yourself and put in your workspace so that you know you've made that decision and you look at it every day. Hire yourself as your own employee. Take this seriously, because it has the serious opportunity to bring extreme abundance and healing into your life and into the lives of many people in your community and in this world.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being with us here
Awesome.
today. Another huge congratulations on your achievement of our crown rank in the company, our highest leadership rank in the company. And I'm just so proud of you, of the growth I've seen and the work that you're doing. So thank you so much for being an amazing example here in our millennial community and our entire Purium tribe.
Thank you so much, Amy. I tell your and Dave's story every day, multiple times per day, and it inspires people all the time. So I want to say thank you to you two for being so brave and so strong and persevering in good times and bad to give us this beautiful gift. And thank you to my entire beautiful team, which made this possible. I may be a crown leader, but truly we are a crown team. So thank you to my whole team.
Exactly.
My mentors, especially Sarah Rhinelander. My mentor, it's her birthday today. So happy birthday, Sarah, out there on the beach. Love
It is. Happy birthday, Sarah.
Thank you so much. Dave, would you like to give some final words as we
So I
wrap
had
up?
They don't have to be the final words, but I do have a couple of words I hope you'll stick around for. Robin made one important point. I want to ask everybody, have you ever gone into an elevator and your foot's blocking it and the door won't close and you're and you don't realize why the elevator's not going up, and all of a sudden you get all the way in and then the elevator starts moving up. And that's the same at Purium. You can't just stand there wondering whether you want to do Purium. You have to make a decision, like Robin said. You got to get in the elevator, then you start moving up. Now, Robin got off on the first floor the first time. He moved up a little bit and said, "This was so fun. That was a nice ride." Then he went to a music festival, but that's cool. That's cool, But the bottom line is, Robin put both feet in this time, and he went to the penthouse, and that's real. And there's a reason why, because he specializes in human development. He looks around and he looks for people who are ready and want and believe they deserve more. And today there are so many people who are ready, so many people who want, so many people who are starting to believe, because we already believe that they deserve more. So Robin, thank you. Thank you for trafficking in human potential, because that's the future. We have so much potential, okay, as a race. We are not of different races. We are of one race, the human race. And it's not a race because we're not in competition with each other. It's an experience, okay? It's an experience. So let's experience this humanity. Let's stop the race, because we're all the same race. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Amy. You are both amazing.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Dave. Thank you for everyone who tuned in with us tonight. Thank you again, Robin, for the amazing information and inspiration. I'm so glad that you came back after that music festival.